common knowledge Sao Paulo is a huge city, but what's it actually like living here? What's your favourite thing about living in Sao Paulo?
Okay, my favorite thing about São Paulo is that in my 4 years here, I have never ever needed anything and not found it here. There's restaurants from every possible cuisine and shops that sell everything. And yeah, like I've lived in a lot of countries and there's always been that one thing that, ooh, I wish I could find that. Never happened in São Paulo.
First thing, it's my family, my friends, they're all here. I was born here. But also, like, you can do anything you want in São Paulo. If you like to try different food, go out, sports, food from different countries, different people, like with different, I don't know, lifestyles, you can find it. And also you have the countryside, so I travel a lot with my friends to the countryside. There's a lot to do here, so that's a good point, probably the best one.
I say the food. So all different food places that you can go to, all different styles of food. My people say try this, try that, and then you try it. So I didn't have feijoada for a long time, and when I tried it, I loved it. Feijoada, churrasco. Feijoada is a traditional Brazilian stew. It's got beans, different kinds of meat, and with rice and farofa on the side. It's very tasty.
Being able to drink a beer on the street corner outside and not worry about getting your coat.
I second that.
Probably.
And also, you've got plenty of choices. You can go and find different vibes going on. You can go to Vila Madalena, you can go to Moema, you can go to a specific ethnic like kind of vibe like Liberdade. It's great. It's got lots of choices.
You've got options to do things. Like if you want to go to the beach, you've got a beach that is 1 or 2 hours away. If you want to go to a museum, you've got hundreds of museums. If you want to go to the park, you've got tons of parks to go to.
The people are amazing. The culture is so vibrant. It's so fun. People are celebrating life. It's amazing. I love it.
I really like the people because they're just welcome. You know?
I would second that.
I think especially if we're comparing to the UK, when it's days like this, when it's sunny, if your building has a pool, tennis courts, when you're with your friends, you're day drinking, I love that environment. I think that just makes people happy. I think when the sun's out, everyone's happy. So if I went back to the UK now, I would miss the weather, for sure.
Days like today. Originals, good pals, lots of places to drink. Yeah, going out, that's best thing. Going out, having a good time, meeting people, yeah.
We have a lot of things to do, and it's a very cosmopolitan city. This is like top 10. It's very cosmopolitan. You can do whatever you want in any time, and then it's going to have something open to you or something to you to go to. And this, for me, is very important.
It's like a city that's amongst the jungle. I know it sounds corny or maybe childlike, but there's nothing better than I enjoy than eating good food and drinking caipirinhas and being in good company and looking out the window of the taxi back home and having these canopies of trees overhang the road and feeling like I'm so far removed from London, but in almost this tropical paradise. And to be at the age that I am and be here, I feel like it's this beautiful canvas just to enjoy myself and seek and find so much to do that's so rewarding.
For me, the best thing is the people. Because I lived in other places in Brazil, and you don't get the same type. Like the people here are very open-minded, and very friendly, and they come from all places, all around Brazil. So you're not only gonna get the people from one part of Brazil, but from all over Brazil. So you get to know what Brazilians are like.
I think you are very welcoming people, friendly, and it's 24 hours, non-stop city. It's 24 hours, 24/7 city. You can find anything at any time.
I've been here for 6 years, and I think over 6 years
like my interests have like waxed and waned, and I've found things that I wanted to do. And my favourite thing about Sao Paulo is whenever my interests have changed, I can always pursue them. So there's endless opportunities to find something that you love here, because it's such a massive city and it's so diverse. Like at the moment, I'm obsessed with patisserie, so I'm doing a patisserie course. And in the past, I got obsessed with jazz. I did jazz, pottery. I did pottery, so sailing. If you can find obsession here, you can follow it. So there's really anything you want to do, you can do here, and that's really exciting. Especially like, I don't know, the cost of living here allows you to pursue those things. After living in London, I found that I couldn't really do the things I loved because I couldn't afford them. Whereas here, anything's kind of available to you. So that's my favourite thing here, I think.
Best thing about living in Sao Paulo is options. You've got so many different things to do, places to go, foods to eat, people to meet. Every day can be completely different, especially if you're just here on tourism. Everywhere has a neighborhood that has its own unique personality, and that's what I love about São Paulo. You can come here to Vila Madalena. This is the place to come and go and drink and eat with your friends. You could go to Centro and go for a dance. Every neighborhood has something different to offer you, and I think that's the best thing, is the amount of options you have here.
100%, it's got to be like the culture, the people.
I think my favourite thing about living in Sao Paulo has to be the fact that you can get incredible open spaces like parks in the middle of a massive city. Sao Paulo is so big that it sometimes feels overwhelming, but then you go to places like Ibirapuera Park or the Botanic Gardens and it just feels like you're somewhere else, and yeah, it's just beautiful. If you go to the Botanic Gardens, you can see things like sloths. I saw a sloth once, which was unbelievable, and in the parks you can see toucans, so yeah, it's very special.
What do you find the most challenging thing to be here living in Sao Paulo?
The most challenging thing for me in São Paulo might be the weather. It changes 4 to 5 times in a day, so you start the day freezing cold in the winter. Believe it or not, it gets really cold. And then by the end of the afternoon, you're way too hot. It can go from 5 degrees to 25 degrees in one day, so you just never know how to dress, and you end up getting all flu-y and cold symptoms because the weather is just, it changes like that.
Traffic is a problem. Like if you need to cross the city to work or something like that, you're gonna like spend a lot of time every day, and if you don't have like a car, it's even worse. The subway, so in the central area it's okay, you can use it like easily. Sometimes it's crowded, but you can do it. But like when you go from not the countryside, but we go outside of the central area to different places, we don't have it a lot. So usually you need to take like 1, 2, 3 different buses and then go to the subway, and then so it's kind of hard. And it's a really expensive city, at least for us Brazilians. Like, of course, if you're spending dollars here, it's cheaper, but for us it's really expensive, especially if you want to live like in the center next to the subway or something like that.
It's weird how I got here. So I'd say I got it because during lockdown, I was put on furlough. So my kind of lockdown hobby was to learn Portuguese and like Duolingo. And then when I was on the app on Bumble, this girl came across me. She was on the steps in Rio. So obviously I thought she would speak Portuguese as well, like learning languages. So when we got together, she got a job in Sao Paulo as a teacher about 9 months after we got together. And then I said the most difficult thing is obviously if you're in a different country then in a different language. I was doing classes online, watching Brazilian Portuguese films, doing things like that. It's completely different when you actually come to Brazil, because Brazil, I think I looked at, only 5% of people speak English. So from literally day one, was you're just in at the deep end. So day one, all I had to do was I had to pay for my receipt to go to the Polícia Federal, And I realised when going to the bank, asking different people things, like no one speaks English, and you've got to be like almost fluent. I'd say definitely kind of the understanding of Portuguese is a lot different when you're actually in the country than just doing it on either Duolingo or doing classes or anything like that.
Learning languages. Don't say how education, because that can get very confusing in the bakery. I mean, of course, learning the language is a challenge for everyone moving to everywhere, but the challenge for me here is the distance, is the size of it. So make sure you find a place to live and work. They are kind of close to each other. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in traffic, dealing with a lot of, time-taking commuting.
I think the language barrier. You need to learn Portuguese. You can't expect people to know English.
Sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. The bureaucracy, if something happens, you have to replace something. It can take a while, but it's okay. People are very helpful. So.
You have to look after yourself, and you have to do that in lots of places. But if you go out, you do just need to be aware of your phone, and be aware of your wallet. And it makes it like you're always thinking about it. And it does kind of become detrimental to life in Sao Paulo because you're always worried. If you're always thinking about, am I going to be safe with this? Do I need to wear zip pockets today? Yeah, that affects your life, man.
For me, it's not being able to dance. As a British man going to samba, can't dance at all. Feel a bit rubbish about myself.
Of course, the language is challenging. So number one, you have to throw yourself into the language. And that can be doing classes, changing your Netflix into Portuguese, changing your phone into Portuguese. Because once you start to understand the language, your experience here is much more fun. Of course, it's great having English friends here that you can see and interact with and have a great time and talk about home. But the language is more challenging. So if you embrace yourself about being here in São Paulo, you would enjoy much more. So you throw yourself in, it's going to have a much richer experience.
Just making sure there's no Brazilians about, because for me, the food. Whatever Brazilians tell you about the food, they're lying. The food is crap. So I'd say the most challenging thing is the food. It's just garbage, it's proper garbage. It's like deep fried crap. Everything's deep fried and salty and rubbish. I just miss a good fry up on a weekend. Nice curry, don't get them here. You just get deep fried crap. Deep fried? Yeah, everything's deep fried and crap. Can I swear? I'm saying crap, so I don't even like to swear. So I'm being, respectful to the video. But yeah, but I don't have my bacon or sausage fried. I grill it. It's a bit different. Air fried, yeah.
People. As São Paulo is a big city, sometimes you just feel yourself like lonely, even though there's a lot of people beside you and around you. You do feel lonely, like meaningful relationships. And I do think that São Paulo, we don't have meaningful relationships. And this is something that I miss from the south, from a smaller city.
Why are they not meaningful?
Because they're afraid mostly. It's like ego and image, and sometimes you do feel you need to give yourself love and to give love to others, but people here, they're more focused in the image, Instagram, where I go, how do I dress, and honestly I don't like those kind of things, and I do think that here in Sao Paulo we have too much.
I think the lack of perhaps open space. It's a very busy, manic, wild, high-rise, filled city. You can often feel like an ant. I think it's about being clever and smart and knowing the places to go. So whether that's Seski, the swimming pool, or whether that is going to Ibirapuera Park, I think that was the challenge that I think I'm now overcoming.
For me, it's such a massive place that it's hard to, there's so much to do that it's hard to decide what you can do in one day, for example. And after being here a while, you do the main touristic things, and then when you want to decide what to do, it's very hard because there's too much to do. And to get around, not that easy, but still, it's possible.
Because it's so busy, it's stressful.
have to learn how to cope with stress and also the traffic.
I imagine the majority of people say the same thing. It's the traffic. The traffic is just, it makes things hard because like you want to do something on a Friday and you realise the thing you want to do, which would take you half an hour, usually might take you 3 hours. And that's just never going to stop being annoying. So the traffic is the most challenging thing in Sao Paulo, I'd say.
When I first came, it was 2009. I didn't have a smartphone and I didn't speak Portuguese. So the most difficult thing for me was finding out information about anything. I used to get on buses just to see where they go because I didn't know where I was going. Just used to drive around and jump off. I think these days it's easier because we've got all the information online, but I think the most difficult thing is not being able to speak Portuguese, which then becomes the most interesting thing when you do, because then all the people and all the things you couldn't do before become really fun. I think you can just meet someone at a bus stop or in a bar and they'll start chatting to you. And having Portuguese, I think, is the most important thing, but also not having Portuguese, the most difficult thing.
Traffic. 100%. The traffic in Sao Paulo is an absolute nightmare. Like you could end up on a bad day if you go somewhere at the wrong time. You could end up. It could normally be a 20-minute journey that could take you an hour and a half. It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I would massively advise, if you can, walk to places or get the metro rather than drive or get an Uber.
I think the most challenging thing about living here could be, for me, it's not a very pedestrian city. I don't have a car, so I'm relying on, Ubers, but sometimes it'd be nice to be able to walk around, and you've got areas, like I'm in Moema right now, and it's a nice place to walk around, and the pavements are flat and it's clean, but sometimes because they're not controlled like in a uniform way, sometimes it can be a bit difficult to walk around. So that would be probably one of my most challenging aspects.
What would your number one piece of advice be for anyone coming to Sao Paulo, whether to live or to travel?
I think it's more Brazil in general. If you're going to come here to travel, bring adapters. Every single plug is different. All the sockets are different. So you can't even say it's a British plug or an American plug or a French plug. They're all different. Bring lots of adapters. If you're going to move here to live, I'd say buy your electronics before you come to Brazil. Apple products are all at least double the price from other places, if not more. So yeah, buy your electronics before you come to Brazil.
Don't trust anyone. I'm gonna look at the camera. Don't trust anyone. No, I'm joking, but like, if you don't know a place, you don't know how is it like, be careful, because as I said, like, it's a huge city, so there's a lot of different people here, different realities and different, how can I say, lifestyles. So if you don't know the place, maybe talk to someone that knows it or someone that is helping you if you're traveling or living here. Also, try to live next to your job if you're going to live here. That's a good point. Some people, like my wife, used to take 2 hours to go to work every day, so it's kind of hard. And enjoy, I don't know, go out, do like what's the best to do in the city, like try different food or different places to go and meet different people.
100% learn some kind of Portuguese, either do like a quick start a course on different apps or do some classes, because it goes such a long way if you speak a bit of the language. And I found as well that if you say you're English but you've been speaking Portuguese and you tell them that in Portuguese, they're so friendly and so helpful. So, and it feels really nice when you're actually speaking a different language as well.
Obviously learn the language and also get zip pockets. Yeah, I mean, be aware of where you are, at what time. It's not the safest place in the world, so know exactly where you going about, you know. Is it a safe place to be? If it's not, avoid it. Language is a problem as well. If you don't speak the language, you might end up lost in a place that you don't want to be.
Learn a bit of Portuguese beforehand. I would also say be open to different things, meet as many local people as you can, try and see where you can meet people like through apps and so on.
The best tip I can give you is just get involved. You know, be present, be there, be in the moment. Get involved, travel, experience as much as you can. Brazil is amazing.
Be prepared for cold, be prepared for rain.
Yeah, I mean it rains here, but grab an umbrella. You know, it's not that hard. And like finances, and if you're actually going to move it, it's going to be hectic for the first like 6 months of the year because like you're living it. You have to get a CPF. You need, like, you're not going to be able to buy stuff online for some reason. You know, like, it's difficult for that. Prepared for that. Go on a holiday, fine. Come on holiday.
That's a good point. Be
But,
prepared to not be able to order anything.
like your tax and all of that, it's difficult because you just can't use services until you've been here for at least a year. Like it is quite a difficult situation most of the time.
And have cash for the metro.
Yeah, well, bring cash generally because you're not going to be able to bring a SIM card that's international because you're not going to be able to use your SIM unless it's international, I guess. You're not going to be able to buy one unless you have a tax form.
So apart from the language, when you move here, you've got to throw yourself into a sports club, Zumba, CrossFit, something. So it's great to have your friends here, but once you start to meet friends and put yourself into a social club, you have something that you look forward to weekly, and then you get to meet those friends, get to know them on a better level, you start to meet their friends, go out for dinner. So I'll say number one tip is join a club. Sports, book club, it can be anything. A run club, anything. Throw yourself into a club and your purpose becomes much better.
You've got to learn some of the vocab. You've got to learn some of the language. No one really speaks English, so you've got to get by. You've got to learn how to be in a taxi, how to order a drink. Posso pedir cerveja, por favor? Essential. But yeah, language, 100%. That's what I'd recommend here. Be open. Be open. Open to feel. Open to go to strange places and to meet people and to be integrated to our culture. Be integrated. Otherwise, you'll be feeling lonely.
I think the bottom line is that the people are the friendliest people I've ever come across here, and there will be no point in which you are greeted without a smile, care and support. So just keep asking questions and you'll be helped in no way or end. So yeah, that would be my tips, keep asking questions.
So first thing I would do if I was coming here, I would find a way to meet a Brazilian, because if you meet a Brazilian, most of them are very, very open, like very easy to get on with, and they will want to show you around, and then it's going to be easier for you to actually get the right experience of Brazil. Because if you just do to be with foreigners, you're not going to understand the city.
Be open-minded, open up your heart, that's it, and live with the experience.
I think it's definitely an expat thing, especially if you're British or European. Like, there's a different sense of time here, and it's a really easy thing to get annoyed about and like to ruin your day or even ruin your experience, because things move much slower here, and it can be waiting for someone to do a job on your house, or it can be waiting in a line at the supermarket. If you're used to Lidl in the UK and you've moved to the supermarket queue in like a minute, here the cashier will have a couple of minute conversation with their colleagues instead of putting your things through the checkpoint. And that can be really frustrating, but if you break it down, it's just enjoying their life a little bit more and having a conversation rather than being a slave to the man or a slave to the minutes of a job. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Just relax on your time and just be a bit calmer. That'd be my tip.
All right, I'm gonna go for a bar, boteco place called Estadão in the center of São Paulo. It's next to the old Estadão building, which was a really important newspaper here in São Paulo. And there's a bar in front of it still called Estadão that's open 24 hours, and you will get the best service of your life at this bar. They're open all day, all night, except for Christmas, I think. And really traditional Brazilian street food, It's in Centro, so you meet every type of person in Sao Paulo and possibly even the world. The food's great, and I've never had service in a place better. Like, you ask for something and it appears in front of you as if by magic. Estadão. It's fantastic.
You've got to, like, if you're going to love Sao Paulo, you've got to throw yourself into it. You've got to immerse yourself. You've got to try and learn the language. Okay, you've got to try and find friends that maybe aren't expat and are sort of involved in like a completely Brazilian sort of element, because then you're going to really understand what it means to be Paulista, and then it just opens up a new door of opportunities into the culture, into the politics, into the cuisine, into just the word in Portuguese is the jeito of people, their way, their manner. So definitely I would say that is the most important thing to do. Learn Portuguese as quick as you can, immerse yourself in it, like literally do Duolingo, get a book, like, and start reading children's books, have subtitles in movies, because the quicker you do that, as I said before, the quicker you get into the culture.
Come with an open mind. It's such a warm and inviting culture. It's just like, I feel like I've changed since I've lived here. The people here have changed me. Like, it's so friendly and everyone wants to talk to you. People want to welcome you in. So just be open-minded, have an open heart, be adventurous, and yeah, just enjoy yourself and you'll have fun.
Portuguese now. Favorite thing about Brazil? About São Paulo? São Paulo é uma cidade que você encontra tudo 24 horas. Qualquer hora você encontra tudo. O mais difícil é o estresse, porque é uma cidade muito cheia, então você tem que lidar com o trânsito é horrível e o estresse. Dica: venha com o coração aberto e com a mente aberta, que você vai viver a melhor experiência da sua vida. É nóis!
Subscribe.